Hello and welcome to the Gardening for Change podcast, where we talk about our community's social and environmental climate and what we can do to change it. I'm Annalise, and today we have Sriya Chilla on the podcast from DNHS HOSA. Hi Shreya, it's great to have you on the podcast today. Would you like to tell us a little bit about HOSA and what you do there?
Yeah, so HOSA is a club at Del Norte, and we focus on community events to raise awareness of healthcare. So that includes a lot of on-campus activities, including running blood drive. We run that every year if you see that big bus on the quad, and mental health week and things like that. And also with our members, we help them find their passions in healthcare by exposing them to kind of the real world careers that are available to kind of exercise that interest in biology.
That's great. That sounds amazing. And I do remember seeing that giant blood drive on our campus every year. And I'm
Yeah.
always just so amazed at all the wonderful people who donate.
hmm
So, why did HOSA decide to start this book club?
I think we mainly decided to start it this year, especially because of COVID and the pandemic, and we can't really get out into the world as much as we used to, especially with our community events. So this is kind of our way to expose our members to the real world and what's actually going on around us. And also to expose our members to the diverse careers that are available outside just being a surgeon or a doctor. There's so many things that you could do in healthcare.
That's great. So, what's your vision for this group?
I think our biggest thing is creating a group where we have a sense of community, where we can share our interests in biology and also learn about the world in a more realistic, day-to-day kind of way instead of sitting in a classroom learning about it. And of course, a classroom is a perfect way to learn about the world too, but it's mostly building basic skills that allow you to actually go out and devise solutions to problems and discuss the greater implications of problems that we have in healthcare. So, yeah.
Perfect. And what larger impact do you hope to make on the world with HOSA? I know you talked a little bit about, getting people to reach out, but kind of how will this club make that a reality?
Yeah, HOSA, I think our biggest mission is to create a world that promotes healthcare and promotes health for all, whether that's on an individual basis with advocating for certain measures that we can take to protect ourselves, or to on a more large scale by learning about governmental um, actions and things that we can promote on that larger level. And also to raise the doctors and healthcare workers of the next generation. Um, that's really important if we want to progress as a society.
Yeah, I think that's great, especially in a new age of medicine and ideas about things like vaccines after the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, really important.
Definitely.
So, what type of books are you planning on reading in this book club, and kind of why did you choose them?
We plan on reading really anything related to biology. So that includes environmental science, that includes biomedical science, and that also includes books that are written from a patient's perspective. It's really important to, especially with books, to understand all the perspectives of an issue. Some of the books we picked out so far that are very highly advocated for are The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, Stiff by Mary Roach, and When Breath Becomes Air. And all of these books, we chose them because we think that it offers our members a unique perspective or exposure to a unique career that they can potentially go into.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think what you mentioned about the patient's perspective is actually something I had never considered before and a really important part of medicine that, I hadn't really thought about. So, what topics do you plan on discussing after reading the books? And then why do you think that that topic is going to impact specifically our community in a better way?
Yeah, I think with almost every book, some of the most important things to consider and discuss are how the issues presented in the book can affect our lives. So, like implications for the future, or discussing within our group a potential solution to a problem that the author brings up, or our take on a controversial issue raised by the book. For example, Henrietta Lacks, she was kind of taken advantage of by doctors, and we can have a really in-depth educational conversation about what we think are the implications of that, or what might be a potential solution if this is kind of still happening in today's world. What can we do about it? And that brings it back to our community, because we are looking to help the people around us. And if we are becoming or going into careers into healthcare, we want to make a change in the world that we go into.
Mm-hmm. And I think there is a really kind of normal fear around doctors because of things like that. So I think destigmatizing that through book clubs and through clubs like that is super, super cool.
Yeah.
So who can join at Del Norte, and why do you think that they should join?
Anyone can join. Anyone who wants to learn more about the healthcare field and our world in the perspective of healthcare. Even if you're not going into biology or don't really have that interest, it's still very important to learn about, because healthcare is something that we all go through at some point and need to understand. I think people should join because of the social aspect, also meeting new people and establishing a sense of community with a shared interest, and learning about the world in a new way through the new perspectives that books provide about the world.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast to talk about HOSA and the HOSA Book Club and everything HOSA. So tune in for our next episode coming to you soon.